and they could only serve people at the drive-thru. And I called the franchise owner about it and so on.
Wow, you got his number on speed dial?
Well, you looked it up online. It's not that hard to find.
It's the internet. It's full of information.
Wow. And now they've upped the Burger King is offering $13 an hour for entry-level jobs. So, the market is responding to people's unwillingness to work for less.
Dudley Dough is sold as pizza with purpose, although it has a noble business plan, offering higher than market wages along with the added expenses of culinary and leadership training. Put the pizza shop at significant disadvantage with competitors. 3 other restaurants. You'd think that a restaurant where all the employees were being paid a fair wage and they were getting leadership and culinary training, the pizzas would be better to the point that people would be willing to pay more, right?
Oh, yeah, they should be artisanal pizzas.
That's actually what they're saying here. I actually just pulled up the original article from Boston Magazine celebrating the opening of Dudley Dough, and it says here that it is a menu of artisan. It's an artisan pizzeria opening up in Dudley Square. That's where the name came from.
That should automatically allow them to charge more.
Right? They got a story in the Globe, and they can't make this work.
The original story here was Boston Magazine, but Luther Pinkney says, quote, "We want to teach, show, and elevate people who want to work one job. A lot of people in the hospitality industry have 2 or 3 part-time jobs. They're not trying to go out and buy a Ferrari, but they're trying to have a livable wage and pay their bills. We want them to do that with one job and still have time for their families and to be civically engaged in their communities." We'll continue here. You can share your thoughts. So there he used the term livable wage, which again suggests maybe $15 to $20 an hour. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live. More about Dudley Dough coming up.
Message and data rates may apply.
Oh my gosh, that's Frank Thomas.
No.
Yes, that's him. Go ahead. Excuse me, are you Frank Thomas?
Yes, I am.
I bet you get recognized a lot.
I was a pretty good ball player.
You were?
Some people thought so.
Sorry, we recognize you from those Nugenics commercials.
Oh, yeah? That's great.
So does Nugenics really work?
Oh, yeah. I really can feel the difference. My workouts are better, and I feel a lot more energetic.
I wish my husband would use Nugenics.
It's so easy to get started. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Text the word radio77 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And you're going to like the difference, too.
Text radio77 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of Nugenics. Samples are not available in stores. Text RADIO77 to 42424.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1. Plus, an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free, bring up anything that you want. Our number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about the so-called fair wage or living wage pizza parlor in Boston that is now closing its doors or planning to close its doors at the end of the year due to, well, they just couldn't make it work. We'll get into that or a little further into that coming up here. Also want to let you know about Dash, which is digital cash. If you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, then join up with Dash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private and easy. Fees are low and transactions are quick and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today and find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to Dash.org and find out why.
Dash is getting accepted at a whole bunch of businesses around here in New Hampshire. And
yeah, not around here, but over in Portsmouth.
Right, well.
But we're hoping to see the Keene area come on board soon.
We're making it possible for the Keene area too. But yeah, you're right. There's a bunch of businesses here in New Hampshire. Probably the largest concentration in a state of businesses that accept Dash.
Could very well be true. Yeah, that could be true. We also have a Bitcoin vending machine that it was expanded to vend Dash. I think a couple of them now. And there may be a third one coming very, very soon. So some cool stuff happening. Check out Dash.org. Well, back to Dudley Dough. There's actually a story, Mark, you've been sharing with us from a business journal of some sort.
Yeah, it's from Independent Journal Review.
And this is about a pizza place that's, I guess their tagline is Pizza with Purpose. They wanted to get rid of the executive pay, have no owner. It's run by a nonprofit organization in Boston. And the idea was, well, they're going to take whatever the owner was going to be making in profits, in theory, and then they're going to give that to the employees. Now, of course, that's a fine idea.
Share the wealth.
There's nothing wrong with that idea. There's nothing wrong with the idea of an employee-owned business or whatever. I'm not saying this was employee-owned, but it was run by this nonprofit. But to try different organizational methods, that makes sense. But you still have to get over the problem of year number 1 of running a restaurant. And anybody that, is somewhat aware of the restaurant industry, and I've never worked in it, but I've known people, close to me who have, and it's pretty much a known fact that you don't make it through the first year if you're 80% of restaurants. You just go out of business. And most businesses, restaurants included, the owner's not taking any profits in year number 1.
The average small business owner in the first 3 years pays themselves less than $5 an hour.
If they get anything at all.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you're talking about the restaurant industry, very high competition. In a city like Boston, there are, I don't know how many hundreds probably of restaurants out there.
Highly competitive.
Probably dozens and dozens of pizza parlors. Probably more than one pizza parlor on the very same block, I would guess, of wherever this was. So, there's a lot of competition, which means that the amount that you can make, especially in your first year where you're paying back loans that you might have received in order to open the business, or you're trying to pay them back while at the same time paying your staff, it's not an easy thing to do. So basically, they were talking about their goal was to eliminate whatever the owner might take away. Well, the owner's not going to take anything away, likely from the average restaurant in year number 1 or probably in year number 2. Unless it's an incredible smash success and money's just pouring in left and right. So they wouldn't have really even had anything, is what I'm saying, to divvy up among the employees here.
I had an uncle who was a restaurateur out in San Francisco, and he once told me that when he got out of the restaurant business and went into real estate. And I said, well, why'd you do that? And he says, well, I realized after having 10 different restaurants over 20 years that the only person making money on my restaurants was my landlord.
Yeah. And the landlord doesn't have to be in there slaving away over a stove.
Absolutely.
All day
That's the
and night.
truth.
But that's okay because, there are people who love running restaurants. They don't want to be real estate agents or garbage men or whatever other things there are. They love serving people. They love giving people their creation. They like seeing it put a smile on somebody's face. That's what a lot of those people live for. The people that are true like restaurateur types, the cooks and the chefs. They love that work. It doesn't really bother them. That's what they're into.
It's an avocation rather than a vocation.
It's it's business, obviously, and it's a competitive business, and these guys didn't make it work. Mark, you got more to share?
Yep, 3 other restaurants opened in the area around the same time as Dudley Doe, and all still are operating, according to the Boston Globe.
Really?
Yep. The irony is that Dudley Doe's mission statement of economic justice is for its employees who will no longer be employed. Not only will they no longer earn a fair wage, and you did figure out what that fair wage was.
I pulled up an old video. It's actually on the Haley House website. This is the nonprofit that runs Dudley Doe, and they have it WGBH, which is one of the Boston television stations. They had a feature that was about the Dudley Doe back from 2015 when it started, and that's when they announced that it was going to be a starting wage of $12.50, but they were hoping to make that $15. I wonder if they ever made it there.
I don't know. $12.50 is probably just your probationary starting wage too.
I think that was their intention to pay their employees that in the beginning, but that they would hope that the business would be successful enough to make it $15. So my question is, did they actually ever end up getting a raise?
Well, okay. So we had here in Brattleboro, just near Keene, New Hampshire, Brattleboro, Vermont, there was a co-op restaurant at one point, at which I ate at. I think you and I ate there one time.
In Brattleboro? No, I've never been there.
10 years ago. And
I don't think I've ever eaten at a restaurant in Brattleboro in my life.
I'll take your word for it. I know that I ate there.
Okay.
And I thought that you had been along, but maybe somebody else was along with me. And this restaurant, not only did, just not a lot of people come, the employees would split the money that was made. Mm-hmm. It was not owned by anybody. I mean, it was a truly co-op,
employee owned. Okay.
Right. They would split all the money that was made that day as wages. But the problem was customers just kept on diminishing and diminishing. And I can't tell you why, but there were a lot of employees on site. So if, a whole bunch of people showed up for one day, then they had to split the wages with a whole bunch of people. And it was really sort of a system that didn't work.
Wow.
There's a way that personnel doesn't work even in a restaurant like this. Like maybe your $12.50 an hour doesn't seem outrageous to me to pay an employee.
If nobody is in charge and you have too many people working, who sends who home for the day?
That's a problem.
And vote them off the island.
That's the thing is that you kind of need that person in charge to say, hey, grab that pizza, chop those bell peppers, like to do all that stuff to keep people moving.
You ain't the boss of me.
Right. Well, that's fine. You can be, go file for disability or whatever.
Wasn't there some restaurant that, like a co-op owned restaurant, where the sandwiches took like 45 minutes to come out or something like that? I forget.
We've read
where
a
that
bunch of
was.
stories like that throughout the years.
I forget where that one was, but it was really ridiculous. More on the way here. You got more to share on this, Mark, and if you want, you can join us. If not, we can also flash back to what was the press like for this thing when it was opening, because I found some of those stories from back in 2015. The heralding of it, 855 450 free. You can join us here.
Hello, Mr. Anderson. The NSA has noticed how much time you spend on conservative news sites. We have no choice but to consider you a domestic terrorist.
Tired of your internet activity being monitored by Big Brother? Get virtualshield.com, the world's easiest to use virtual private network. Browse the web anonymously, leaving pesky advertisers and spies in the dust. Get started today at virtualshield.com. Take advantage of our free 30-day trial. Virtualshield.com. You have the right to remain private.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at SurvivorMax.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Blink Home Security, one of our newest advertisers here on Free Talk Live. They make it super easy to get set up with your own home security system. And when I say super easy, I mean even Mark was able to do it in about 10 minutes. You easily just...
It was that easy, yeah.
You plug it in, you set it up, you put batteries in, and you're good to go. The batteries go in the cameras, the little sort of central device can plug in, and so no running wires, no drilling holes, no having to set up a complicated, confusing DVR recorder. You just go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. You can get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge for 1. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL. It's easy to set up, and you can even customize like the times at which the cameras are operating. If something moves in front of them, then it will record that and send you the clip that you then can pull down on your smartphone. So again, everything's done through your smartphone. Very, very simple, easy to use system. Check it out at blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. Mark, you're telling us about Dudley Doe in a story from, was it the Business Times?
No, it's, I can't remember.
They're pulling
I've got
from
so
the
many
Boston Globe.
Pages up for this darn thing.
They're pulling from the Boston Globe, which is, so they're reporting on the Boston Globe's report. Does yours mention that the owner of the Patriots gave them a bunch of money?
Yes, $100,000, right?
That's what it says here. Last year, apparently, the owner of the Patriots gave this, again, nonprofit pizza place that was supposedly going to pay a fair wage, is what they called it, and they started at $12.50. They are now going out of business at the end of this year, and that's with a $100,000 subsidy.
What I want to know is, who owns the building that the restaurant was in?
Good question. Is it Haley House?
Is it Haley House? How much was Haley House charging Dudley Doe for rent?
Well, why would they charge their own thing? It's their project.
That's where the real profit is.
I mean, if they're a nonprofit organization, then they're not searching for profit, though.
No, but they can use a profit on another entity they own to fund other projects that they have.
Sure.
Well, they certainly make this whole economic justice and fair wage thing look ridiculous by letting their 2-year-old pizza shop open for this very purpose fail right there in front of them.
I would say that's kind of embarrassing for the whole the cause.
Especially with a $100,000 subsidy. I mean,
Luther Pinckney, team leader at Dudley Doe, says, "I don't think anyone's looking at this as a failure." But Pinckney's statement contradicts those who relied on their jobs. "I didn't see it coming. I have to keep working. I've got my youngest son in private school," said Dudley Doe employee Royce Terrell. "I like coming to work. It was kind of a shock. The pizzeria couldn't remain profitable despite being given a $100,000 donation from
sending your kid to private school on a pizza shop salary.
Good for him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it shows his priorities in the right place.
Yeah.
But
now he's got to keep it going, though. Yeah. Now that he's losing this job, he's got to find something else at the same level.
My mind is brought back to this kid named Roy who went to the school that I went to, the private school I went to in Bradenton, Florida, and his mother. Part of her benefits for working for the church as the secretary that she worked for was she asked for, not all the other benefits. She wanted her son sent to Bradenton Christian School. And so Roy was sent to school on this sort of subsidy, this this scholarship situation from this church, and he is now a doctor at the University of Florida Medical Center.
Wow.
Roy's made amazing strides in his life because he wasn't given anything. He had to work for it. Yeah, he was given the right education, and that's what what his mother worked so hard for. But she didn't. I don't think she felt like she could do it. My parents were working class too. My mother was. She started out as an operator at GT General Telephone, and my dad was just a mold maker at Tropicana. So they were, they scrimped and saved to be able to send me there too. And private school education, it's certainly better than government school.
No doubt. No doubt.
The pizzeria could, despite the board's decision, Broderick said a significant effort is being made to support the staff at the shop as they transition to new jobs. the Boston Globe noted.
So it's over.
Yep.
Well, at
Fat
least they
lady's clearing
get a
her throat.
good reference on their resume.
Yeah, that is true.
If they were working for any place that has quote-unquote fair wages, it's already a bad reference as far as I'm concerned.
The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. What I'd like to know is the bakery cafe still open? So according to the original story at Boston Magazine, this again from back in, actually it was October 12th of 2015, they say that Dudley Dough is the second social enterprise from Haley House, the Boston nonprofit in this case, committed to economic inclusion for half a century. Like Haley House Bakery Cafe, its original shop located right outside of the Dudley Square neighborhood in Roxbury. The new restaurant aims to use food and community to break down barriers between people and transfer new skills. Isn't it nice? I mean, I just love that language, right? Like that we're going to use our restaurant to break down barriers between people, as though other restaurants put up barriers between people.
This is the whole thing with the living wage and the minimum wage and so forth, is that you give people the ability to break down barriers by giving them their first job in a training wage so they can gain experience and build a work ethic and have references so when they move on to another job, they're prepared to work productively to earn that higher wage.
That's why, and that's what I think you're exactly right. We should call minimum wage training wage, because that's what I got paid. I can't remember the last time I got minimum wage. It must have been when I was 15 years old. And I worked at a little comic book store in Bradenton, Florida. We sold magazines and Dungeons and Dragons games and all kinds of role-playing games and stuff like that. And, what it taught me was to show up at work on time, how to treat customers, those kind of things, how to keep a place looking good, the kind of stuff you need to know that you may not know just being some teenager living with your parents. And that's ultimately what, when you raise the minimum wage, what you're doing is you're pricing out these young people who need to start at that. I was able to start working. I started working at 12 years old. I got paid U.S. dollars starting at, I think, 15 years old. And I was getting paid in comic books before that. What you're doing is you're pricing people out of the marketplace when you raise that wage. Where are the 15-year-olds going to work that want to work? Well, the answer is they're not. If you are paying, what is it, $7.50 an hour or whatever is minimum wage?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, if you're paying $7.50 an hour, and during the economic downturn, there were adults working for that. If you've got a 25-year-old showing up and a 15-year-old showing up, and all things are equal by your estimation, you're probably going to hire the 25-year-old just because they have more life skills.
Hopefully.
They
are working at a minimum wage job, so could suggest that they don't.
It was a rough economic downturn.
I saw people with doctorates during the subprime crisis taking jobs at fast food. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pay, by the way, according to Boston Magazine, started for staff at $12.50 an hour for all staff, according to this, at the Dudley Dough.
But that's only fair.
And as the restaurant begins turning a profit, they say, it will be distributed quarterly among all employees based on the number of hours they clock, Pickney said. He clarified the restaurant doesn't fit the legal definition of a worker cooperative, with employees doubling as shareholders. The profit sharing is simply in the form of the regular bonuses. He says, quote, "What we're trying to do is make it a model for other businesses to look at," unquote. Well, they will be looking at it and seeing that it didn't work.
What not to do.
Yeah. In addition to the what they call direct economic benefits, the pizzeria is also supporting its workers with the culinary and business training that you mentioned earlier and the claimed lack of hierarchy. Pickney was general manager at Esther in Dorchester and South End Landmark's Daryl's Corner Bar and Kitchen, but he shuns that label in his new role. He says, "Here, we want the team aspect to shine through. We're doing a lot of decision-making as a group." The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom.
You know what they didn't decide as a group? To shut the F
go
down.
Out of business.
Right.
More coming up here. Free Talk Live.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The Crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the Crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the Crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the Crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the Crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-765-9681 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-765-9681. Again, that's 800-765-9681.
It's the Onion Radio News. A crazy man announces plans to stand in a doorway and yell at cars. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Dennis Fife, an Alhambra, California crazy man, held a press conference today to announce his intention to stand in the doorway of the office building at 2600 Kenilworth Avenue and yell at cars all day.
At approximately 9:30 a.m. on the day in question, shortly after I finish lunging at dogs, I will proceed to the front steps of the Simmons building and yell loudly for 9 hours. The screaming will be broken by a 15-minute fit of rigid catatonia, most likely in the late afternoon.
Among the topics Fife plans to address during his 9-hour rant: the ace of diamonds, bookshelves, the man trying to kill him, plastic bags in trees, Trapper John M.D., and papers everywhere. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll-free if you want to join us on the radio waves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. And you can bring up anything that you want. You can also support Free Talk Live. Yes, we do ask our listeners directly for support, cutting out the middleman, ending hierarchies, and so on and so forth. You can actually help the show out for $5 a month with the AMP program. Go to amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com. And actually, I'm just joking. Everything on this show is basically decided by me as far as the final decision making is concerned.
He's a slave driver.
This is my program. It is my ministry for the Shire Free Church, and So it's always worked out well that way, having just one decider, one person making decisions for things. People can come up with ideas, and if those ideas are good to my mind, then I might move forward with them. And that's
or I
worked
can come
out
up with ideas and then continue to save the business as time goes by.
It's not a business, Mark. This is a nonprofit charitable outreach project. As
nonprofit, not for profit.
What's the difference?
Not-for-profit is a legal designation, I believe.
Okay, well, it's operated by a nonprofit church. Anyway, my point being here that Free Talk Live is not your typical business, and that's because Libertarian Talk Radio really probably can't make it in the marketplace, unfortunately, right now. But we've made it this far because we do have some great supporters and listeners like you going to amp.freetalklive.com and supporting the show directly for $5 per month. We do have some great advertisers who have stuck with us over the years, and some have come and some have gone, and we appreciate those folks as well, and we've helped them get their word out about their business. But ultimately, our goal here is to spread the ideas of liberty and freedom and to make them understandable to the American people and people all around the globe. So if you want to support our mission, you can go to amp.freetalklive.com, and we've made it work for more than 15 years.
What can listeners do to get the show on more radio stations?
Well, they can go to amp.freetalklive.com because that's where the AMP money goes to. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote, and so the $5 that comes in from a listener is added together with other listeners' $5, and sometimes more. Some give 10 or 25 or more in some very rare cases. But the money then goes to invest into Free Talk Live so we can get on more stations by reaching out directly to program directors around the country, introducing them to Free Talk Live. And because ultimately, the program directors don't care whether or not we're a charitable organization or a business or whatever. They just want programming for their station for 3 hours a night.
But
and
can listeners who don't get the show in their local area, can they call their local radio programs?
Yeah, absolutely. You can do that. You can call your program director at your local talk radio stations and let them know that you want to hear Free Talk Live if we're not on in your market. If you do happen to live in one of the areas where we have a radio station already airing the show, you can always call them and thank them for airing Free Talk Live. And it's always nice to hear a kind word from a listener rather than complaints. So it's nice when people call to say thank you. And there are actually instructions on how to do that. You can go to local.freetalklive.com. So we've got a forum thread with details on and suggestions on how to contact local radio stations about Free Talk Live. So that's one way you can do it. But if you got $5 a month, you can also join the AMP program and get some cool perks over at amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Justin in, I believe, Louisiana. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Justin.
Hi, guys. Thanks. Podcast listener, so
welcome.
Sorry I'm not germane to the topics of today's show. I just wanted to agree with Sarah from Albuquerque. We've got a Democratic mayor, and we haven't had a pedestrian fatality in years.
You're referring
you aren't aiming at that mayor closely enough.
You're referring to our caller, Sarah, who regularly calls in our third hour of the show. She called last night to suggest that, I think it was last night, she was suggesting that because there's a Republican mayor is why there have been traffic fatalities that have gone up, and she claims that I think violent crime has gone up. She believes that all that's going to change if there's a Democratic mayor elected.
Because drivers are annoyed and they keep seeing people they think are the mayor and they keep going for them.
That's funny, Justin. Anything else you want to share tonight?
Yeah, I just had a quick question about cashing out Bitcoins.
Sure.
I've been interested in investing in Bitcoins, but not sure how I would cash out if I use it as an investment vehicle.
Yeah, it's a great question. So there are different ways that you can do this. One way, if you are, let's say, looking for anonymity around cashing out, like you literally want to get cash, is you could go to localbitcoins.com, and sometimes there are people there who will meet you at a location and give you cash for your Bitcoins. You can get involved in a group, for instance, like there might be a local area Bitcoiner group or cryptocurrency group in your region, depending on where you're calling from in Louisiana. And so you can look for like a local meetup or a local Facebook group or something like that, and you could post there and say, hey, I want to sell this amount of Bitcoin. Is anybody looking to buy? There may be somebody who steps up in that case. If you are willing to kind of go on the books, so to speak, there are companies like Coinbase, and Coinbase is basically like the big bank of Bitcoin, so I'm not a fan of them, but they do make it pretty easy as long as you're willing to give up all your financial information as far as bank account info, who you are, identification, that kind of thing. If you're willing to give up some of that, then they'll let you cash out, I believe, for 1%. Maybe they've raised it to 1.5%. I'm not sure. I don't have an account with them anymore. They banned me for life. But but for you, it would probably be pretty easy to get in there, and then you can connect it directly to your bank account. And if you want to cash out, you just cash out.
A tip: if you want to trade your Bitcoins for dollars, and you don't mind working with Coinbase, what you can do, they have an exchange called GDAX, GDAX, and if you put your Bitcoins on GDAX and you sell it in what's called a limit order, not a market order, you can sell it for no fee whatsoever.
Really?
Yeah. And and then so that'll convert it to dollars, and then you can send the dollars to your bank account, your PayPal or whatever, and they'll have some fee for that wire transfer fee, but it's usually like $10 no matter how big it is and that sort of thing.
Wow, I didn't realize they were doing no fee over there for limit.
It encourages people to do limit orders rather than market orders. So the people that are want to sell or buy immediately on the market price, they're the ones paying the transaction fee on the transaction, and so the person selling doesn't.
Cool, that's good to know. So so those are a couple of options. I know BitPay, for instance, is another option you want to consider, and I think Coinbase has a competitor, but it's not available in all states. A Bitcoin debit card, Bitcoin-fueled debit card is another way to do this. And I wish I would have been able to try the Coinbase version, but they weren't operating in New Hampshire the last time I checked, and I believe they are still not operating in New Hampshire for some reason. But in many states they do have it. In BitPay's case, they've got it in all the states, I believe. So, and there's like a dozen of these things out there, and if not more than a dozen. But these are two of the domestic ones that are offered. And the way the BitPay card works is you load it with Bitcoin, and it converts to cash when you load. So you have a debit card, just like any other debit card from a bank account, except this one you're depositing Bitcoin into an account. At the time that you deposit it, it determines what Bitcoin's price is at that moment, and it gives you the equivalent minus whatever fee they might be charging for that service. So then you've basically got a US dollar denominated debit card that came from your Bitcoin that you can go and use to spend at any Visa or MasterCard accepting location, which is pretty much every business everywhere. So that's another way to convert out from cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. So that should give you a handful of options.
Yeah, great. I really appreciate it, guys.
No
Keep
problem.
up the good work.
Thanks,
Take
Justin.
Care.
I appreciate the call.
I can't wait to listen for tomorrow.
All right, right on. Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. And if anybody else has any suggestions, by no means is that the limit. There are certainly other choices. So, exchanges, the Bitcoin debit card, and just selling Bitcoin for cash, I would say those are three of the main ways to do it. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. I've got the commercial for Dudley Dough. Now, it's about a minute long, so maybe we should hold off on it here because it's going to be fun to, I think, kind of pause it and dig into what it says. But we're talking about this pizza place that is just not making it. It's they tried for 2 years. They even had a $100,000 subsidy come in from the owner of, was it the Patriots or the Red Sox?
The Patriots.
The Patriots. Yeah. And according to the story over,
you like the pizza?
According to the story over at Boston Magazine, which this was written when the thing launched back in 2015, Mike, you had asked about the building. You were wondering if the Dudley House, or whatever they were called,
Haley House.
It's in Dudley, the area of Roxbury. Anyway, you had wondered if the Haley House owned the building. Turns out, no, they don't. At least for Dudley Dough, they don't. The building is the so-called Bruce C. Balling Municipal Building. Municipal meaning
government.
The city owns this building. And we'll tell you a little bit about that building coming up here in moments. 8:55, and why it matters. 8:55-450-FREE, like freedom. You can join us. Hour 2's coming up. Free Talk Live.
It's been said, Any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road underground market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, October 24th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.88 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,273 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,483. Antiwar.com reports top officials in Catalonia say they are considering calling snap elections this week as a way to preempt the Spanish government's attempts to seize the autonomous region outright. Spanish officials say this will not work. The argument is that because the Article 155 takeover is meant to be imposed just to lead to fresh elections, which Spain is hoping the anti-secessionists win, beating them to the punch and calling elections would make their takeover superfluous. Spanish officials say they want the outgoing government to publicly disavow secession before that happens, however, if they are to avoid the takeover, and Spanish officials seem set to impose a takeover no matter what. What Spanish officials are saying about this being insufficient may not matter, however, if the snap elections are enough to convince the Spanish Senate not to vote in favor of the takeover. Stopping the takeover would go a long way to ensuring the Catalans' next elections are free, as under Spanish rule, Catalonia would doubtless face severe restrictions on campaigning by pro-secessionist figures, many of whom are likely to be rounded up before the vote. Catalan officials have also said they intend to contest in court the efforts by Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy to directly take over Catalonia and the total revocation of the region's historic autonomy. Article 155 has never before been invoked. Spain's government will be arguing that the referendum supporting independence, which the court already forbade, proves Catalonia's constitutional order needs to be restored by force. Catalan officials will argue that peaceful demonstrations calling for independence don't rise to the level of an emergency. For over 40 years, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a Mississippi woman who sat in a county jail for 96 days without being offered bail or a lawyer on suspicion of a drug crime she swore she never committed may pursue a civil rights lawsuit against the county and its sheriff, according to a federal appeals court on Tuesday. Reversing a lower court ruling, the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said Jessica Jogg was denied basic procedural due process by Choctaw County and Sheriff Cloyd Halford in being held so long, ostensibly because the court was not in session. Jogg's innocence is now undisputed. A 3-judge panel of the New Orleans-based appeals court voted unanimously, with Circuit Judge Thomas Reevely writing, "A procedure calling for extended pretrial detention without any sort of hearing is alien to our law." Brandon Buskey, a lawyer for the American Civil Liberties Union, said the decision reflects different levels of justice that people accused of crimes might receive while awaiting their day in court. He said you can't operate two justice systems based on wealth and someone who could afford an attorney who would not have sat in jail for 96 days. Jogg was taken into custody after police pulled her over on April 26, 2012, and issued several traffic tickets. She later learned she had been indicted 3 months earlier over a sale of 8 tablets of an anti-anxiety drug known as Xanax. The case was dismissed in January 2013 after surveillance video showed Jogg merely borrowed $40 from a friend who happened to be working as a confidential informant. Jogg sued in April 2015, but her case was dismissed in September 2016 by Chief Judge Sharion Aycock of the federal court in Aberdeen, Mississippi. Aycock said that because Jogg was indicted by a grand jury, state law did not entitle her to the court hearing she sought. Reevely, however, said indefinite pretrial detention without an arraignment or court appearance offended fundamental principles of justice, potentially imperiling a suspect's job, income, and family relationships. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
It's the Onion Radio News. The nation's last remaining themeless restaurant has closed. This is Doyle Redland reporting. A once vibrant era came to an end today when Pat's Place, the nation's last themeless restaurant, closed its doors in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. During the heyday of themeless restaurants, Pat's Place achieved a certain amount of notoriety for its unique non-themed food items and unadorned atmosphere. But according to owner Patrick Baines, the times have changed.
Lately, we've had only a handful of people coming in to gawk at our posterless walls and mundanely named menu items like hamburgers or pancakes, and then they go someplace like the Rainforest Cafe or Johnny Rockets to actually eat.
Plans are now in the works to convert the Pat's Place location into Cedar Rapids' 7th Patty O Touchdown Sports Bar and Good Time Internet Grill. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. You dial on in toll free, bring up anything that you want. We're talking about a fascinating case of failure in the market. It's Dudley Dough is what it's called, a 2-year-old, or I guess just about 2 years old pizza place in Boston, actually in the subtown or whatever they call these things, little burg of Roxbury. Not exactly Boston, but sort of like one of the suburbs.
Close enough for us.
Anyway, Dudley Dough opened up to much fanfare back in 2015. Joining you here tonight, by the way, it's Ian,
Mike,
and Mark.
And Mark, you had originally brought the story up. I hadn't heard about it until you brought it up here tonight. You had shared with us the news that they're closing. So that's what we spent most of the first hour kind of just talking about, this concept of they wanted to cut out the owner's profits, right? So the idea was, one of their employees explained in something that I was reading, I don't think we read this on the air, but the explanation was that in most businesses, there's the money the owner makes, there's the money paid to the employees, and then there's, the costs, the other costs of doing business, the rent and the overhead of the product that you're buying, and etc. And so they said, well, we were going to get rid of the owner's profit and then take whatever profit the business would have made and distribute it amongst the employees on a quarterly basis. So they would divvy it up based on how many hours each employee worked would be their share of that bonus. In theory, that was the idea. Whether that ever happened is not clear, right? The postmortems here in the media that are coming out now obviously don't go and delve into the business details. They're just announcing how sad it is that this grand social experiment in so-called social justice,
economic justice, and fair wages,
that it has failed. And they're not giving us any real details on this. So one of the questions I had was the $12.50 starting pay that they had announced back in 2015. They had intended to pay people more. Were they ever able to do that? Did they ever distribute any of these so-called profits? Because as I said last hour, your typical restaurant isn't making any money year number one. They're just lucky. Your average restaurant, if they make it through year number one, is lucky to make it through year number one. Like, that's like a whew kind of moment for your restaurant first year.
They usually budget in their business plan usually several tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep it running while they're running a deficit.
Yep, and I suspect that's expected for a year or more.
Yeah,
in a lot of these businesses. Now, I've never run a restaurant before, but this is just what I've heard from knowing people who have. Dudley Dough, according to Boston Magazine, this again going back to when they opened in 2015. According to the story, they opened up in the atrium of the newly renovated and renamed Bruce C. Balling Municipal Building, a public-private mixed-use facility in which the city invested $115 million.
How many million per job is that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Quote, "We're proud to be representative of the city," said one of the employees or the team leader at the pizza place, adding that the 500 Boston Public School District employees whose offices are upstairs are a nice client base. He says, however, we're definitely here for the community. So they had every bureaucrat, or I don't know if it's at every, but a good chunk of the Boston bureaucrats working there from the school board in the very same municipal building. This is a very nice-looking building. If you look up the Bruce C. Balling Municipal Building,
I'm sure it's the very best that Boston taxpayers can afford.
$115 million worth of renovations went into this thing. Not only does it look very nice on the outside, the insides are, it looks fantastic. There's no doubt. Very, very nice. But so they were in this building. We don't know if the city was cutting them a break on the rent or not. That's not made clear. Obviously, we don't get that kind of a detail. But they certainly had plenty of breaks cut to them, with the owner of the Patriots cutting them a $100,000 check about a year into their operations. But even with all of that assistance and everything, they still have failed. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. And I've got the commercial for Dudley Dough that I pulled up here that should be interesting to play. But first, James is in Washington State. James, where are you at in Washington tonight?
Hey, I'm in southeast Washington State.
Welcome.
A place called Tri-Cities.
All right. Go ahead with your thoughts.
What a wonderful day of news today to hear that a couple of the liars and cheats and stealers are going to be nailed to the cross.
Who's getting nailed to the cross?
The uranium deal investigations going on.
Yeah, I've got that. We got that in show prep.
That's kind of appropriate for a guy from Hanford, Washington, talking about the uranium deal. I mean,
oh, heck yeah.
What uranium deal?
What do you guys know about Hanford that I don't?
Well, Hanford is where the U.S. nuclear reservation is.
And that's also
the high school there,
where we grow the largest vegetables in the nation.
Yeah,
here, too.
radiation fertilized, and the high school there for decades. Their team is the Hanford Bombers, and their team mascot is a big mushroom cloud.
Oh God.
Oh, I've got a shirt. I have got a Bombers shirt, and I call them the Bombers.
Bombers.
So what's this uranium thing? I'm sorry, I don't know what the story is.
Anyway, this whole uranium deal, Hillary and the Russians and somebody else, or probably Billy too, they all made this deal to sell 20% of our uranium stockpile to Russia. Just give it to them, basically, and they could do whatever they want with it. We have no idea where the hell it went.
And
there's no keeping track of it, and this is all good info I got off of.
Yeah,
it sounds familiar. Was this in the news?
Here's what happened.
The Lars Larson guy does a good show up here.
Right.
Anyways, he's smart as heck.
The Russian government agency, or basically the agency owns a government-owned company over there that wanted more uranium, and they're doing a deal with Uranium One, which is an American uranium mining company that controls 20% of the U.S. Uranium supply. And so over in Russia, they paid Bill Clinton several $1 million to give a 20-minute speech. And then they donated $153 million to the Clinton Global Fund, which is now closed down, and all the cash is now in the Clinton hands because they've apparently accomplished their mission.
I'm glad to hear they did something worthwhile with it.
So this was so what did Clinton do to get this uranium deal?
Bill Clinton got the money for giving a speech, and then a whole $153 million donated to the Clinton Foundation, and immediately after that happened, the State Department, which Hillary was the Secretary of State of, approved the sale of Uranium One to the Russians.
I see.
And no conflict of interest whatsoever.
So the Russians bought the entire company?
Yes.
Okay, got it. James, so you're happy about this? You think that somehow Hillary's going to be strung up over this? I mean, she's pretty politically connected, isn't she? Hello, James?
It's worse than that. There's 9 people, 9 department heads that had to sign off on this crap.
Okay, but is there like some sort of criminal act here, or is this just you being naughty?
Definitely.
Yeah, and
it's definitely. They've got an investigation going.
Yeah, it's also coming out that the Trump dossier, that's the Russian dossier on Trump, that the media has been flogging, talking about how the Russians were somehow using it to extort Trump or so forth, that's now turning out this whole dossier was a complete fiction that was written by a former British intelligence agent being paid by Hillary.
Uranium is a big subject.
Sorry.
And it was being paid by Hillary and the DNC to produce this fake dossier to implicate and smear Trump. And those facts have just come out.
It's going to be an interesting couple of months in U.S. politics.
Yes.
Huh.
By the way, there's also an FBI informant that's coming forward that is in hiding, that has information all about all of this stuff.
Yes, and he had been ordered by Lynch to not talk.
James, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate the heads up on the story. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us here. You can bring up anything that is on your mind. Take control of the airwaves. This is Free Talk Live, and we got a little more about this failed so-called fair wage pizza house on the way. It's Free Talk Live.
Message and data rates may apply.
Oh my gosh, that's Frank Thomas.
No.
Yes, that's him. Go ahead. Excuse me, are you Frank Thomas?
Yes, I am.
I bet you get recognized a lot.
I was a pretty good ball player.
You were?
Some people thought so.
Sorry, we recognize you from those Nugenix commercials.
Oh, yeah? That's great.
So does Nugenix really work?
Oh, yeah. I really can feel the difference. My workouts are better, and I feel a lot more energetic.
I wish my husband would use Nugenix.
It's so easy to get started. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Text the word Radio77 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And you're going to like the difference, too.
Text Radio77 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of Nugenix. Samples are not available in stores. Text RADIO77 to 42424.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1. Plus, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. 855-450-3733. We're talking about the failure of Dudley Dough, which was supposed to be a grand social experiment in so-called economic justice, where the employees were supposed to be in a non-hierarchical structure. They were to be paid a beginning wage of $12.50 an hour with the supposed intention of raising that to $15 an hour if the business could support it. We've never really found out whether or not they ended up getting to that level. I suspect they didn't because they closed their doors just 2 years after they opened, or they are closing their doors. The news stories are pretty fresh on it. They say they're going to be closed by the end of this year. They're renting a big space in the municipal building, or one of the municipal buildings there in Roxbury, Massachusetts. And they were even given a $100,000 check by the owner of the Patriots at one point. So, I mean, this was a much ballyhooed kind of promoted thing, and the mainstream media gave it a lot of publicity back in 2015. So it probably got more publicity than your average pizza place.
Oh, yeah. You think you open up a regular...
Lots of brand recognition and public exposure.
Right. And ultimately, it just didn't work out. Here's the video from the website of Dudley House, or excuse me, Haley House. It was Dudley Dough was the name of the pizza place. But at the very bottom, they have their kind of their pitch video. This is what, I doubt this aired on any television station, but this is their video from Vimeo.com, and let's play it to find out a little bit about Dudley Dough.
There'll be no mistaking when you go into Dudley Dough what our goals are. We'll have our mission up on the wall. We have a
You were right, Mark. Yeah, right. You said the mission would be right up front, right on the front of the menu. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. They're really proud of their idea, and they wanted people to know
if you take
about
a look at what happens sort of early on, they're not selling pizza. They're selling an idea.
The idea, yeah.
The idea is economic justice and a fair wage. Now, what they call a fair wage is $12.50 an hour in Boston, Massachusetts.
It doesn't sound hard to get.
No, it doesn't sound. If fair is anything different than going wage, then I'd be very surprised. You can find $12.50 an hour here in Keene, New Hampshire, as a starting wage,
depending on where, but that's possible.
Yeah, depending on where.
Yeah.
I mean, I drive down the road. They have signs out on little. What do they call those when they can change out the letters?
Marquee.
On the little marquees, the little crappy marquees that say, now hiring this much an hour. This is where I get my wage information from in Keene, New Hampshire, because I am not shopping coffee shops and pizza parlors for jobs.
Yeah, I just heard that Chili's was hiring some sort of no-skill cook position. They were willing to train somebody for like $14 an hour.
Right.
Anyway, going on here.
local artist who's painting a whole wall mural, which is going to be celebrating labor. The idea that we
Somebody's going to have to paint over
the
that.
propaganda for the party
have is to take whatever profit we're able to generate and share it with the workers, to give them the proper reward for their efforts. People who are scrambling with 2 and 3 jobs and end up with no time for their families, no time for their local communities, because they're busy working and traveling between jobs, and they still end up with just enough money to survive. And we're trying to find a model that could change that. So this is the idea that we're trying to get across, is that low-wage workers need to be honored as being part of our culture, and they don't need to always get the short end of it.
And there's nothing wrong with that idea. I mean, in theory, there's nothing wrong with it.
It brings a tear to my eye, and I almost want to start singing the International.
I don't know what the International is.
That's the theme of the International Communist.
Oh, it's like the Russian anthem or something like that?
No, of the Communist International Congress.
They have their own song.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. There's nothing wrong with that idea. I mean, of having the desire to pay people more, there's nothing wrong with that. But unfortunately, there's also the market competition in play, where you're not in a vacuum.
There is something wrong with it. Okay, they've got a government building here. It's a not-for-profit that probably got its stuff through donations. They got a $100,000 grant from some other person that didn't understand economics, and they can't run a pizza shop. Okay? Yes, there's something wrong with it. Stupidity has consequences.
Pizza.
Economics is there for a reason, people.
If you can't sell pizza in America, you're failing hard.
Right. I mean, there are people that there are people that have just gotten off the boat from foreign countries that can come here, make a pizza, sell it to Americans, and feed their family on this stuff.
Well, again, like I said, there's nothing wrong with the idea of trying to pay people more or dividing up profits among employees. I mean, there are employee-owned businesses that do very well. Publix is a good example of that.
There's something darn wrong with calling it fair, though. Okay?
Okay, I didn't say that.
When you open up a business, and the first 3 people you hire, are those people going to be broke? Is their rent not going to be paid when you can't make wages, when for 3 years you're trying to make enough money to survive? You've got to pay them right off the bat. Sure. Nobody ever says anything about what it's like for the small business person setting up a pizza joint. They're
struggling, for sure.
There's something wrong with not understanding economics. There's something wrong with calling wages fair when nobody cares what happens to the small business person.
Yeah, I wasn't saying anything about the fair. That's just propaganda. I mean, the calling something fair is just essentially marketing. They're trying to market their pizza parlor to a certain audience, and ultimately that's what they failed at. And Mike, you've got the menu pulled up here.
Yes.
Well, let me play the last few seconds of the spot here.
Stick economically.
All right, I guess that was it. So I didn't know if there was more to it. Dudley Dough failing, going out of business. What would you see, Mike, if you walked into Dudley Dough here and you were hungry, you're ready for some lunch, you want to grab some
wouldn't
pizza?
be surprised if I saw a statue of Lenin or Stalin going in the door.
I meant, what do you see on the menu?
I'm
hungry. I want to get some pizza. What am I going to get?
The first thing you see is a paragraph titled "Our Manifesto." That makes this a manifesto.
The first, of course, they put their manifesto first because they're not there to sell pizza. They're there to sell shame on everybody else who ran a successful business. Shame on you for not paying employees fairly, whatever we decide fair is.
Celebrates the labor of exceptional workers who nourish our community with healthful food, empowering them with just pay, dignity, and a voice in their workplace. We pursue social wealth, not greed, as the driving force of commerce.
Social wealth.
Yes.
I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
You just got to make up terms that sound good. Is social a good term?
Just put the word social in front of...
Is wealth a good term?
Well, right. So I would think that some of these people don't like wealth, right? They associate that with rich people, or they associate...
Fat cats.
Right, so just put the word social in front of it, and then it becomes okay.
Yeah, it's community wealth.
Right.
The community wealth is always good.
I'm looking at the HaleyHouse.org's website here, and I'm seeing a lot of ladies that are probably doing a great deal of emotional labor while working at this place.
Emotional labor. That's the term we went over before.
I have
a
clue, I think, why they went out of business. And looking at their pizza menu.
That's what we're going to get into here in a moment, because what does the actual menu contain? What would you see if you went into this place trying to get some lunch or dinner or whatever? The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. And maybe there's a clue here as to why it didn't work out for them. It's Free Talk Live.
Advertising your business with GCN is simple, effective, and more affordable than you might think. Visit advertise.gcnlive.com for more info. Take your business to the next level. That's advertise.gcnlive.com.
ProPure water filters. Most trusted, most tested. Right now, you can save 25% on the ProPure Nomad Gravity System. Visit an authorized ProPure dealer for details. That's PROPUR.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
Don't worry about things you can't control. Isn't that what they always say? But it's about impossible to avoid worrying about what's going on these days. The government has used the war on guns, the war on drugs, and the war on terrorism to tear our Bill of Rights to shreds. But you can fight back. The 10th Amendment Center has proven it, racking up major victories. For example, when the U.S. government claimed authority in the NDAA to have the military kidnap and detain Americans without trial, the nullifiers got a law passed in California, declaring the state's refusal to ever participate in any such thing. Their latest project is offnow.org, nullifying the National Security Agency. They've already gotten model legislation introduced in California, Arizona, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, meant to limit the power of the NSA to spy on Americans in those states. We'd be fools to wait around for the U.S. Congress or courts to roll back Big Brother. Our best chance is nullification and interposition on the state level. Go to offnow.org, print out that model legislation, and get to work nullifying the NSA. The hero Edward Snowden has risked everything to give us this chance. Let's take it. Offnow.org.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free and bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we do have Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. Plus, if you want to learn about Bitcoin, recommend you check out Bitcoin.com. It's a great introductory site, but also a great place to go if you're old school. You've been involved in Bitcoin for a while. You can go there and get the latest news over at news.bitcoin.com. And they've got a forum where you can interact with other Bitcoiners and other cryptocurrency fans all over there. And it's all free at bitcoin.com. Don't forget their mining pool if you want to get into that as well. That's bitcoin.com. As we continue, you can bring up whatever's on your mind here. We've been talking about Dudley Dough, a failed experiment in so-called social economics or something, social economics, social... They just put the word social in front of things. Social wealth. Yep. They said earlier.
Social clean the bathroom.
The idea was that they were going to run this pizza place called Dudley Dough in Roxbury, not New Hampshire. That's next to us. Roxbury, Massachusetts, which is kind of a suburb of the Boston area. And it was this grand experiment of we're going to pay a so-called fair wage, which they decided was $12.50 to start.
Doesn't sound fair to me.
With the expectation that if the company made some profit, then the wage would go up and be given to the employees. They would get a bonus at the end of every quarter if there was profits to distribute, and they expected there would be profits because they wouldn't have some fat cat sitting at the top of the organization collecting in all of the wealth from the company. Well, they probably never really got to the profitable phase because they're shuttering their doors after about 2 years, so I don't know if that ever even occurred for any of the employees. But we're kind of flashing back to what it was like back in 2015 when all the news headlines were coming out in the Boston media about this wonderful experiment. It's covered in Boston.com, which is the Boston Globe newspaper. It's covered over at Boston Magazine and online, of course, in a variety of different places. There was a lot of publicity that surrounded the opening of this place. And so they got more publicity than the average
for a pizza shop.
Right? So obviously people would have seen this in the media, and they would, if they were community-minded, they might think to themselves, well, gosh, I should go down there and, pay this new business a visit and support this social justice. And then if they walk in, Mike, you've pulled up the menu, which is still available online. What is it that they are going to see besides the mission statement, which we've already gotten into? But what's the food like?
You get to pick from a grand total of 5 different styles of pizza.
5.
Okay. One is their signature margarita pizza, which is a smoky tomato sauce topped with house-pulled mozzarella, Asiago, and snips of basil leaves.
Margarita pizza, I've heard of that one.
Wait a second, what? Is that all?
That's all.
What?
It's healthy. It's
cheese.
organic.
What
it's
is it?
non-GMO.
Okay, I got basil leaves and Asiago cheese and what?
There was sauce.
Sauce?
Sauce, and that's it.
Oh.
I've had a margarita pizza before.
That's a cheese pizza with leaves on it, Ian.
Yeah. The next one is the shrimp and corn with puttanesca.
I'm not sure what puttanesca is, but I know what shrimp and corn is, and I'd prefer not to have them on.
Not
I
on a
prefer them in my
pizza.
chowder, not on my pizza.
Puttanesca is a zesty anchovy tomato sauce. I actually
Sounds
loved anchovy, so I might like that.
Yep.
There is a mashed potato and meatloaf with corn capers and bechamel pizza.
That is not a pizza.
I'm willing to give it a try.
I mean, I like capers, but
mashed potatoes, I like those too.
Yeah,
this is shepherd's pie on dough.
That's what
it sounds like. Yeah,
I'm willing to give it a shot.
The fourth one is curried vegetable with lentils, so Jamaican stew with seasonal vegetables and earthy lentils.
They didn't make this with me in mind.
And the last one is jerk chicken, sweet potato, and jack cheese.
That's this kind of thing that Ian would eat.
I like jerk chicken.
So you cannot get pepperoni on your pizza.
Right, these people need to die.
I think we know why they didn't sell any pizza.
That's it,
Right.
man. I mean, while some people, Mark, you did say you were interested in at least one of those pizzas, and you found one that sounded interesting to you. When I'm walking into a pizza shop, I'm probably going to want to just order a straight-up pepperoni pizza. I'm simple like that, right? Like, I don't have maybe pineapple and ham, right? I mean, there's this big debate over whether or not pineapple belongs on pizza, but I'm simple when it comes to pizza. I don't need this fancy stuff. And it's probably expensive.
I don't like the idea of putting pineapple and ham on pizza. However, every time I've had pineapple and ham on pizza, it's
you
been
liked
good.
it.
Yeah.
It's great cold.
Do you have the prices handy? I'm just curious.
Yes, a quarter pizza is $3.50.
Okay.
A half pizza is $6.50. And a full pizza is $12.50.
Not bad.
Not bad prices.
Not bad.
If it's artisanal pizza,
which is what they claim, yes,
you would think that they could charge more, and maybe they would have done better in business if they had done something that,
Well, they claim the place was busy, or that they claim that there were customers. I don't know. It's over now, unfortunately for them. And does this mean that all employee-owned businesses are doomed to fail? No, not necessarily.
No. Luck will shine on a dog's butt every once in a while.
Well, I mean, Mark, if you look at Publix, that is an employee-owned business, as I understand it. I don't know if they own the entire thing, but they have a good chunk of the ownership. I believe it's over 30%. Giving shares out to employees who have worked for a certain period of time isn't exactly the same thing as a co-op.
Up here in New Hampshire, there's a company by the name of Hypertherm in Lebanon. It is an employee-owned company. They are the world leader in plasma cutting machines, and they're very profitable. And I can say that getting a job at Hypertherm for people in that area who may not have a college degree, but if you're blue collar, getting a job at Hypertherm is like winning the lottery, because the bonuses that they get at Christmas time can be rather stupendous.
Wow.
I'm certain that's true. With an employee-owned business, it's not about what happens with the money. It's about who makes the decisions. And this is the really difficult part, is that running a business means that sometimes you've got to say, no, it's not going to go the way you want it to go. It's going to go the way I say it's going to go. And if you don't like it, there's the door. Because you get, if their ideas were so awesome, they'd probably have their own successful business.
The ones that are most successful are the ones that most act like real corporations.
Yeah. Right. And just the way they distribute the shares of the company, that doesn't matter to me. But starting up a pizza joint by saying we're going to, have a fair wage. Now, I don't consider that wage to be particularly fair. They're going to, have all kinds of funding from the government in what looks like a rent-reduced building that's owned by the municipality, and, all this other stuff. That's just a recipe for throwing money away.
I think my memory might have failed me when it comes to the amount of ownership of Publix that is employee-owned. I think it may actually be pretty significant. Anyway, it's actually promoted as the world's largest employee-owned company, Publix. And anybody that lives in the Southeast, Georgia, Florida, I think South Carolina, I believe they've expanded out to Alabama. But anyway, Southeast, Publix is an epic grocery chain. I mean,
I heard they were up to D.C. already.
Really?
Yeah.
They've gone that far north. So, I mean, that's a major success story. So it's not to say that that's an impossibility, but then again, that's not what Haley House was doing, as they pointed out. It was not employee-owned. They were just trying to distribute the so-called profits to the employees.
I bet if the employees actually had some ownership, they would probably have been a lot more motivated to make it a lot more profitable.
The toll-free number here tonight, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I don't think there's much else to say about the Dudley dough, which is going out of business in Massachusetts. If you want to join us here, you can bring up anything. We were talking about Bitcoin, although I know you wanted to mention a new crypto or ICO, Mike, that you're interested in, which is called Trive.
Trive, if you can go to trive.news.
Let's talk about it coming up here.
Sure,
it's like a fake news detecting,
and
crowdsourced
it's
thing.
Be interesting to talk about.
So we'll get into that coming up here in moments. You can bring up whatever you want. 855-450-FREE like freedom. 855-450-3733. Join us on the radio. It's Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the Crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information, so pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Has your body ever gone low blood sugar, feeling weak, shaky, knowing you better eat something fast? We all know high blood sugar can lead to many metabolic problems. At GCNteam.com, we have a healthy blood sugar pack, focusing on the structure and function of stable blood sugar. Find us at GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Nothing feels worse than unstable blood sugar. Call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Chad here, owner of Infidel Body Armor. With the shooting in Vegas, there will be calls to ban guns and body armor. You can expect prices to rise dramatically in the coming weeks as gun grabbers try to outlaw your freedom. If you don't have your armor kit yet, you're behind the curve. Don't miss your window of opportunity. Go to infidelbodyarmor.com and click on Specials. That's infidelbodyarmor.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, you are invited to join us right here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well, so Skype on in. Skype username is lrn.fm.
Whole Food Multi-Complete is so much more than a multivitamin. If you're getting a synthetic multivitamin at the store, you're probably not paying too much for it, but you're probably getting what you pay for too. If you were to go to a naturopath and say you were you'd be likely told that all that cheap vitamin mineral stuff isn't going to cut it. So you need probiotics, enzymes, antioxidants, other nutrients. And by the time it's all said and done, you're buying 5 bottles of product and spending $150 a month. If that's a situation you've experienced, then you need to know about Whole Food Multi-Complete. For 15 years, Whole Food Multi-Complete's been quietly providing what the big guys won't, the perfect blend of 7 supplements in one single product. They've taken the expense and complexity out of following a complete supplement program. Visit simplifymysupplements.com to learn more. Enter coupon code FTL to receive 10% off your order. Every time you order, you can use that code. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Yes, they take Bitcoin. SimplifyMySupplements.com. Coupon code FTL.
All right, our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. We'll talk a little bit about what Mike brought in to discuss tonight, the Trive concept, the idea of crowdsourcing fake news, meaning figuring out what is fake based on the wisdom of crowds.
Yeah, Trive is, the word comes from Truth Archive. So using the blockchain as a way to archive and fact check what's true and what's not. And, you know, no matter what side of politics you're on, the big term in politics right now is fake news.
Fake news.
You know,
Fake news.
and you're fake news. No, you're fake news, and back and forth. And you know, everybody thinks they know what the truth is, and everybody else thinks they're wrong. And how do you know for truth?
Well, I mean, how is this concept that you're talking about here, Trive.news? How is it going to figure it out? I mean, isn't it just going to be a bunch of people throwing eggs at one another online, saying your news is fake, your news is fake?
No. It's well, you know, you've probably seen people debating facts on Wikipedia or on Snopes.com and other fact-checking websites. But what's going on with Trive is they're trying to incentivize the discovery of truth and creating an adversarial Nash-type competition. And so the way it works is that you can go to the Chrome store, and right now it's just a demo plugin, but you can get the Trive plugin on the Chrome store. It doesn't monetize anything yet, but you try it out, and you can fact check articles on any news site with it. And you can reference, if you say this isn't true, and you can provide a reference to contradictory information. And so,
and what does it do? Does it pop up like a notice whenever somebody who has the plugin, if they're reading? Let's say you let's say you go to freekeen.com. I got a new article up there about copblock.org and what happened to the organization, and you say, oh no, Ian, you're wrong, this isn't the way it happened this way, and you use the Tribe plugin to sort of leave like a note on the article?
So it'll be referencing other sources on the web that provide countervailing facts.
So unlike Wikipedia, where there's a page for discussion where people, if they change something in the Wikipedia, this sort of group edited, publicly editable encyclopedia, you can look at sources, you can look at the discussion, you can look at the argument that's happening. But Wikipedia is built for that. You're saying this would overlay this interactivity onto existing sites that are not built for that. So New York Times or any other website, where normally all you could ever do would be to hope to leave a comment at the very bottom.
And that data goes into the Trive blockchain, and you can win rewards for documenting facts through the blockchain. And so that's the first way of earning money by engaging in this process. And let's say that you want to play a debunker. Let's say somebody has documented some things that you think aren't quite as accurate as the person claimed they were. And so you can debunk somebody else's Triving and basically get their reward from them.
Oh, okay.
And so it creates this adversarial process. And then if the person who you snagged their reward from disputes it, then it goes to essentially a jury of people called witnesses, like the fair witness from the Highline books. And they get paid no matter which side they pick, but they basically decide who's right and who's wrong.
Well, now, where does the revenue come from? Is this like a cryptocurrency that's just sort of mined into existence, or is it a token on Ethereum? Or
It's a token, but it does get mined, but at the same time, there's a monetization process for it where over time, by creating ratings of how accurate stories are, news organizations will want to have higher Trive ratings. And so
if it catches on.
And if it catches on. And so they will basically pay to have those ratings on their website for all normal users, not just people with the plugin.
Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting pitch. And you said this guy, one of the guys behind this organization, is going to be at the Texas Bitcoin conference?
Yeah, Dave Mondras.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, I'm interested in anything that's going to create, more truth
honesty
in the world. Yeah. I mean, I believe that's one of the universal principles that we've got. The more of that you've got, the better off you are. I think that humans like to run from it as best they can.
Yeah, it seems like a neat vision. We'll learn more about it as time goes on. Let's go to Ricky. He's on the line in Pennsylvania. Go ahead, Ricky. Somebody that needs a lot of truth checks. Go ahead.
That's the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Before I go, just a quick comment since you mentioned it. I am a Windows insider, and people don't hit the archives. You mentioned about this site. I'm skeptical. I'll be all over.
Oh, yeah, you ought to be skeptical. I mean, it's a new idea. They're trying to prove themselves. I have no idea if it's legit. I've not tried it, so I can't say.
I'll tell you why I'm skeptical. Because I know my experience dealing with people that are of the right and more extreme, the worse, because they're definitely extreme status. I have difficulty when it comes to the truth of the Civil War. I get it told that it's fake news. But that's not the topic for tonight. I'll be all over this site.
Okay.
All right. If I may carry on.
Go, man. You're on the radio.
All right, sweet. Well, quick update on the credit union and then general update on Confederacy.
I can't believe you do business at a credit union. I would think you're more of a confederacy, a credit confederacy
yeah.
kind of guy.
Hey, there ain't no Commonwealth banks left. They all got ripped apart, but that's a story for another night.
All right. Well, pick one thing and go with it.
Yeah, this is the one thing, brother. Now, first of all, update. And these are both quick. Now, update with the credit union.
No, only one thing. You want to do an update, that's your one thing.
They're both the same topic.
Then go and quit breaking it up then.
I'm trying, brother. I'm trying very hard.
Just spit it out.
Yeah, well, the update is last time we spoke about it, it was me versus the credit union, and we were at an impasse. Well, the good news is I heard back from the communications officer. It turned out that actually they had 2 days of calls, and I didn't do anything but stand there and do business from people that most likely started with an A and ended with an A that weren't even there.
The heck are you talking about, dude?
Antifa people, most likely.
I have no idea what Antifa has to do with you standing somewhere at a credit union.
There's upwards of 1,000 of them, probably, from what I hear.
They're crawling all over the place, Ian.
Who? What? 1,000 what? And 1,000 Antifa? 1,000 credit union branches? I mean, what are you referring to?
People that didn't like my flag that came to that saw me at that bank.
Oh, that's right. You had some sort of conflict with a bank manager outside because you had a Stars and Bars Confederacy flag wrapped around you.
Cross, actually.
Huh?
Battle flag in North Virginia.
Super Rebel.
Is that different than the Stars and Bars? I don't know.
It's the Stars and Bars.
Yeah. Okay. So they gave you a talking to because some customers were uncomfortable about your flag, and you're claiming it was 1,000 Antifa members.
Worse than that, I heard it was upwards of that. They called. Repetition
That's ridiculous.
over and over and over. Hey, it is ridiculous. Over 2 days after I was there, in fact.
Who told you that? You said you heard that many people called. Who told you that?
The communications officer.
She said, Ricky, 1,000 people called to complain about your dress, what you were wearing.
The flag, yes.
That's
upwards
ridiculous.
Over the past 2 days.
I don't believe your story. I don't believe it.
Well, okay, fine. Then you
I
call
believe
him a liar. I believe it. They went nuts over the next 2 days.
1,000 people at the credit union saw you with a cape on. That didn't happen.
No, I know that, brother, but they called and they tell other people to call. They weren't even there.
You are living in. Speaking of, they weren't even there. The callers weren't even there because you're living in some sort of a paranoid fantasy here.
All right, Jesus, I'll send
ridiculous.
you the recording with me and the guy from the credit
You
union.
recorded it? Yeah, I would like to hear that. That sounds great.
Well, yeah, I'm sure you would.
Yeah, send that over on Skype. Thanks for the call. Toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. You can upload a file on Skype, so go ahead and upload that recording. I'd love to hear somebody tell you that they received 1,000 complaints about you wearing a Confederate flag.
If they did, I think they're lying to him.
Yeah. I don't buy it. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. You join us on the radio. It's Free Talk Live.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your Longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Kiss your credit card debt goodbye. I'm Pharmacist Keith. Dr. Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and myself want to show you how to achieve financial peace, creating an extra income that will last for years to come by joining Dr. Wallach's crusade, spreading his message of better health. To learn more, visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com, radio.recordedvideo.com, or call 866-257-3105 for a recorded message.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, October 24th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.88 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,273 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,483. Antiwar.com reports top officials in Catalonia say they are considering calling snap elections this week as a way to preempt the Spanish government's attempts to seize the autonomous region outright. Spanish officials say this will not work. The argument is that because the Article 155 takeover is meant to be imposed just to lead to fresh elections, which Spain is hoping the anti-secessionists win, beating them to the punch and calling elections would make their takeover superfluous. Spanish officials say they want the outgoing government to publicly disavow secession before that happens, however, if they are to avoid the takeover, and Spanish officials seem set to impose a takeover no matter what. What Spanish officials are saying about this being insufficient may not matter, however, if the snap elections are enough to convince the Spanish Senate not to vote in favor of the takeover. Stopping the takeover would go a long way to ensuring the Catalans' next elections are free, as under Spanish rule, Catalonia would doubtless face severe restrictions on campaigning by pro-secessionist figures, many of whom are likely to be rounded up before the vote. Catalan officials have also said they intend to contest in court the efforts by Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy to directly take over Catalonia and the total revocation of the region's historic autonomy. Article 155 has never before been invoked. Spain's government will be arguing that the referendum supporting independence, which the court already forbade, proves Catalonia's constitutional order needs to be restored by force. Catalan officials will argue that peaceful demonstrations calling for independence don't rise to the level of an emergency. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a Mississippi woman who sat in a county jail for 96 days without being offered bail or a lawyer on suspicion of a drug crime she swore she never committed may pursue a civil rights lawsuit against the county and its sheriff, according to a federal appeals court on Tuesday. Reversing a lower court ruling, the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said Jessica Jogg was denied basic procedural due process by Choctaw County and Sheriff Cloyd Halford in being held so long, ostensibly because the court was not in session. Jogg's innocence is now undisputed. A 3-judge panel of the New Orleans-based appeals court voted unanimously, with Circuit Judge Thomas Reevely writing, "A procedure calling for extended pretrial detention without any sort of hearing is alien to our law." Brandon Buskey, a lawyer for the American Civil Liberties Union, said the decision reflects different levels of justice that people accused of crimes might receive while awaiting their day in court. He said you can't operate two justice systems based on wealth and someone who could afford an attorney who would not have sat in jail for 96 days. Jogg was taken into custody after police pulled her over on April 26, 2012 and issued several traffic tickets. She later learned she had been indicted 3 months earlier over a sale of 8 tablets of an anti-anxiety drug known as Xanax. The case was dismissed in January 2013 after surveillance video showed Jogg merely borrowed $40 from a friend who happened to be working as a confidential informant. Jogg sued in April 2015, but her case was dismissed in September 2016 by Chief Judge Sharian Aycock of the federal court in Aberdeen, Mississippi. Aycock said that because Jogg was indicted by a grand jury, state law did not entitle her to the court hearing she sought. Reevely, however, said indefinite pretrial detention without an arraignment or court appearance offended fundamental principles of justice, potentially imperiling a suspect's job, income, and family relationships. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Florida officials announced today its plan to experiment with new 600-lever voting machines.
The machine operates through a very straightforward process that we think is going to give Floridians the peace of mind that their votes will be counted. The voter turns on the machine using these 30 levers at the top and then enters their names and social security numbers using the alphanumeric levers near the bottom here. Right about now, the voter's going to have to find the 2 levers on the machine that are exactly identical and pull them at the same time. Then they're going to have to...
The new 22-foot-tall steam-powered machines, which officials are hailing as, quote, the future of voting, each feature over 45 separate panels of levers, along with an intricate series of valves, knobs, cranks, and pumps, all designed to streamline the electoral process.
Now, some of this may seem confusing, but every voter will be given a comprehensive 2,200-page manual when they enter their precinct that will explain exactly what to do.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can dial toll-free to join us on the radio waves. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well, so feel free to Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio, you've got Ian,
Mike,
and Mark.
We're going to your phone calls and thoughts here. Ralph is in New Jersey. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Ralph.
You know, these are ridiculous things about the NAACP, and Mark knows what the NAACP letter initial stands for. If you don't, I'll let you know.
I don't want you to tell me what that stands for. Just go on with what you're calling about tonight.
Because
we know you're a racist.
Stands for, I know you're a white guilty. Okay. Now
I got nothing to be guilty about. I haven't enslaved anybody.
Keep on with this caricature of me as an Archie bunker.
It's not a caricature, brother. It's crystal clear from the words that have come out of your own mouth.
I think I agreed with Archie Bunker about half the time.
Which is farther from the truth. Nothing is this allegation and claim. But anyway, the NAACP has issued a travel advisory for, the so-called African Americans. See, I say so-called because I don't want to use that term. They are black, they are Negro. If they don't like it,
there's plenty of. We actually talked about this years ago on Free Talk Live as far as, what do people want to be called, and the people who called into the show said prefer black as opposed to African American.
Okay, well, that
because not all of them are from
well,
Africa.
They identify to a continent they've never been to, and they will never leave. Okay, at least I can legitimately claim I'm from Asia and I'm an Asian American, and I can travel there in that part of the world anytime.
Congratulations, you were born on a certain plot of land. So what?
Right. Okay. So, but this whole travel advisory directed at
what is the travel advisory
at American Airlines for code practices and policy of discrimination. I doubt this very much that they discriminate and they practice or they have a policy of discrimination. The NAACP, Negroes are always creating a problem. That group is trying to scheme their way into shaking down.
It took me a second.
Ralph, you are a horrible, horrible person. I just want to say, it's to deny that you're not a racist. Obviously, the words that come out of your mouth have just made it crystal clear.
What country in Asia are you from?
He's from the Philippines.
Oh, he's Filipino.
Yeah.
Well,
there you go. Got anything to say to him? Because I'm gonna let him go. Otherwise.
I could, but then people would think I would be racist to say something about that.
What do you got to say about?
No.
There's nothing true about all Filipinos, so you don't say it.
Yeah, there's so many different types.
Right. All right. Thanks for the call, Ralph. I think let's continue here with Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. Hello, Dave.
My gosh, I was on hold for about 4 seconds, literally.
It is that fast sometimes here on Free Talk Live. Weeknights, a lot of times, no calls. So it's super easy to get in.
And we'd much rather listen to you, Dave, than some racists.
Than Ralph, yeah, for sure.
Thanks. By the way, I've just sent you email, Ian. It's relatively time sensitive. But
all right.
I wanted to talk about Randall Lord. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Randall Lord? No.
Okay, then I guess it's an important call. You've heard of Morpheus Titania, the nickname for the Arizona Bitcoiner who was locked up over Bitcoin.
Well, they raided him purportedly over Bitcoin, and during the raid they found they raided him purportedly over some sort of deals that he did through localbitcoins.com. But they found ammunition in his house, allegedly, and he is a felon, so they charged him with and arrested him right there for felon in possession of ammunition.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a crime.
Apparently it is.
Yeah.
And anyway, that's what the arrest was for, but I guess the investigation is ongoing. Dave, you've been following the Morpheus Titania case very closely. What's the latest?
Well, the subsequent charges were, I guess, operating an unlicensed money transmitting business.
Okay.
But anyway, I wasn't calling to talk about him. I don't have an update on him. But Randall Lord is the other situation that actually is getting less attention. But Lord is he was a Libertarian Party candidate, probably if I recall, it was for Congress. It might have been for Senate in Louisiana, and is pretty well backed by the Libertarian Party. He's very genteel, soft-spoken, credible sounding individual. I've seen him interviewed a few times, but he was locked up, I think, on similar charges, and his son was accused of drug charges, but not him. And he'd been mining Bitcoin, I guess, since 2011 or 2012, which kind of created maybe he just was wealthier than some Bitcoin traders. But they locked him up, I guess, about 2 months ago, and it was less fascistic, less dramatic than the way they treated Morpheus Titania. That was more like, calling him into court and indicting him and everything. And he never actually was arrested until the day they finished charging and convicting him, if that makes sense, and then sentencing him. If you go to Facebook and just type Randall Lord, it's pretty easy to find out how to send him mail.
So what was he charged with?
I think operating an unlicensed money transmitting service, if I recall.
And this
same thing as Morpheus.
This is more local Bitcoin stuff?
I believe he was using local Bitcoins. It's a very similar case to Morpheus. It's just that Morpheus was a very free spirit with a long victimless crime rap sheet. So that's why they called him a flight risk.
I see. That is unfortunate. I'm always sorry to hear about people getting in trouble for doing something that is completely, in my opinion, innocent. I mean, selling and buying and dealing with Bitcoin on localbitcoins.com. People are doing that all across the country.
Heroes are doing it all across the country.
Heroes?
Yeah. I mean, people that are getting this message spread out that's going to undermine the war machine. Yeah. It's heroic.
Lord got, I think, a sentence of around 4 years. His son got more.
Oh, wow. What, did he take a guilty plea?
I think they both did reach some kind of a plea agreement. They, it seemed like their lawyer was more sanguine at first than what actually happened. It seemed like it was one of those things where the horror story just got worse and worse every day that Lord got into it after he was first approached by authorities. And again, like so many cases, why didn't any of them get video of these people coming to their door and questioning them, right? It's just like it all happened so in the dark.
Because these people, I mean, you said he was an activist with the Libertarian Party, so yeah, he has even less of an excuse as far as not getting the video. And if all it was questioning, then yeah, he certainly should have been able to get video of that. It's another thing if the cops bust into your door and you can't get to your phone in time to start the video recording. But if you've got the leisure of being able to do that, then you really ought to. Of course, answering the cops' questions is also generally a terrible idea.
Isn't Louisiana rather known for going after people for trying to film their interactions with police?
I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me, though.
I don't remember what their privacy laws or whatnot are. But, yeah, it's just one of those things that needs more attention.
Well, thanks for bringing it up here. Yeah, it looks like Reddit headline, Crypto Trader Heads to Fed Prison Randall Lord interview. So we can't play that. Don't know what exactly the content is, but man, what a shame. Yet another person sitting in a prison cell that everybody's forced to pay for when he was an individual who was supporting himself on the outside just fine. Didn't need anybody to pay for his lifestyle.
Well, with regard to the idea of them busting in your door and you not being able to film, well, yeah, it may be that you can't even reach for your camera because they'll shoot you or something like that. But generally speaking, it's important to at least make a physical attempt at getting to your camera. If you're not going to get shot over it, especially, just making the attempt then puts them in the position where they've stopped you, like the Jonathan Irish situation at the Concord Hospital about 8 years ago, where he tried to reach for his cell phone and the Concord police stopped him. Well, that gave me something to confront the Concord police chief about.
According to the story, he did apparently take a plea deal in the case. Dave, thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You may join us on the radio here. This is Free Talk Live.
Called it elephant skin. It was rough, wrinkly, like a Brillo pad.
His hair was falling out in clumps.
Petey stopped eating and all his hair fell out.
Our golden retriever, Sundance, he scratched incessantly. There was hair all over.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Within 2 weeks, the shedding slowed down to almost none. The scratching went away after a few days, and Sundance's coat was starting to get shiny and glossy.
It's a 180 turnaround. His skin has cleared up. He is not in pain.
If your dog has shedding, dry skin, excessive scratching, do the Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Are you about to meet the media? If you're about to be interviewed, do their homework for them. Know this about the person who will interview you. He or she is busy, so expect minimal, if any, preparation. He or she doesn't know as much about your topic as you do. He or she isn't as concerned as you are about getting your message out, so you need to take responsibility. Provide a biography and fact sheet, photographs, or other materials that tell your story. Reporters won't be put off if you supply frequently asked questions. Remember, Public Speaking 101, at the end of the speech, what's the one thing you want them to remember? You can download the document I supply to reporters who interview me and squirm through a video that demonstrates how not to conduct your media interview at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up whatever you want. Our number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype And the Skype username is lrn.fm. With you in the studio tonight here, it's Ian,
Mike,
and Mark.
Also want to let you know about shop.freetalklive.com. You got shopping to do online? Well, you can do it with Free Talk Live through shop.freetalklive.com. Places like Walmart, for instance. And Free Talk Live gets a cut of the purchase when you start your shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. I was looking at a little bit more about the Randall Lord case that Dave Ridley had just called in about, saying that he was a Bitcoin trader on localbitcoins.com and the federal government went after him. He took a guilty plea, apparently. And according to a Reddit thread, now, again, that may or may not be accurate, but one of the guys on the Reddit thread here says that this guy, Lord, was also allegedly selling research chemicals. The suggestion being that if he wasn't selling research chemicals, they wouldn't have been investigating him at all or going after him for just simply selling Bitcoin. But that's, again, just what somebody said on a Reddit thread. I don't know what level of truth there is.
So research chemicals, is this like fake marijuana and fake LSD stuff?
That would be that kind of stuff, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I think people should be able to sell it. I think you should really, really, really think twice before putting that stuff in your body.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So you can bring up anything that you want here. I've got an interesting post, a very sad post to share from Carlos Miller, who is a man that we've had on the show here on Free Talk Live in the past. He's the founder, the creator of Photography is Not a Crime, and I've actually invited Carlos to come on the show, and he said he's busy at the moment dealing with nonstop drama in his life, which we'll explain here in just a moment. But he said maybe sometime next week we'll be able to have him on and talk about what's happening with Photography is Not a Crime. Here is the post from Carlos Miller made about 24 hours ago on his Facebook page. It's a public post, so anybody can go to Carlos Miller's profile and read this. So here's what he says. The Photography is Not a Crime Facebook has been deleted after it was hacked over the weekend. It was deleted right after the hackers changed its name to Instant Memes. Facebook likely deleted it after receiving a ton of reports from readers. More than 263,000 likes and thousands of stories gone just like that. A decade's worth of content vanished. There's so much going on right now, but I want to keep it simple. Basically, I effed up by not going with my gut in regards to trusting people, telling myself perhaps I'm being too judgmental, and opting to give people chances. Big mistake, because now I'm out of a Facebook page that took many sleepless nights to build. And I'm dealing with my former friend and business associate Grant Stern, who came on board in 2014, 7 years after I launched the site in 2007, claiming that he built the site and the brand. He is actually claiming that PINAC, Photography is Not a Crime, does not stand for Photography is Not a Crime, but for Public Interest News and Accountability Company. And he still has possession of my Twitter account that he stole 2 months ago, and Twitter doesn't care, just like Facebook didn't care about me getting hacked. He is also telling people that I'm a fake activist, which is cool with me, because I've always considered myself more of a journalist anyway. And I would rather be a fake activist than a fake journalist, which is exactly what he is. Grant will tell you that I have no right to sell the website, which is, by the way, what he's trying to do right now. Photographyisnotacrime.com. Carlos is looking to get out. He's burned out. He's had enough. It's been a decade, and the police violence and abuse, and it doesn't stop. It can get a little exhausting, continually having to keep putting this content forward.
Yeah, it's burnout's a very real thing with activism.
Sure is, and we can talk about that in a moment, but let me continue here. So he says, Grant will tell you I have no right to sell it because it's a nonprofit, but I will be dissolving the nonprofit. I legally removed him from the nonprofit in August, so there's nothing he can do about it, even though I welcome him to challenge it in court. He also claims that I can't dissolve the nonprofit before dividing the assets, and that may be true, but my mother, who lent us $18,000 2 years ago and was never repaid because Grant failed to generate revenue, would be the one to receive the assets. So PINAC, Photography is Not a Crime, is pretty much dead. I still own the site and the content, and that is up for sale to the highest bidder. Oh, he says in parentheses, the horror of trying to cash in on 10 years of nonstop work just to pay back my mother. And he says, if I can't sell it, then I'll just keep it up for archival purposes with the occasional article update until I get tired of paying for hosting. The site started off as a one-man blog in 2007 after I was beaten and arrested for taking photos of Miami police, and it morphed into a national movement after I was arrested a couple more times for taking photos. The movement evolved because of the introduction of the iPhone in 2007, allowing us to upload video to the internet in minutes for the first time in history, as well as the rising popularity of YouTube. And I was the one documenting the stories when everybody else was ignoring them. Nobody will ever take that away from me. I proved my point that photography is not a crime, and I paid the price for it, almost getting killed on at least 2 occasions because I refused to back down to unlawful orders. But now it's time to move on. And he says, my question to you is, when did you first come across the site, and what did you learn from it? So that's him saying goodbye, calling it quits, throwing in the towel on one of the most, I would say, influential, one of the most important journalistic websites to shine light on the bad behavior of the police across the United States. Carlos Miller and Photography is Not a Crime. I love the guy. He's great. We had the chance to meet him when he came up here to New Hampshire.
2 times.
Was it twice?
I think so.
Well, he's in Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree, which is the movie that I produced when one of the times he was here. He went up and challenged the court security and their ridiculous camera bans there, and that was the same day that Derek and I got arrested out at the courthouse. And all of this was documented in Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. But man, so sad to hear about an organization like this having internal strife, having people having a spat within an organization, and then, you know, what he was talking about, having somebody steal a Twitter account, steal a Facebook account, somebody who was obviously trusted for a time, given the keys to the kingdom.
He didn't make the accusation that guy had anything to do with the Facebook page being hacked, but it was kind of an implication.
That was a suggestion, yeah.
It could be just that the Facebook page got hacked. That could happen. I think it's...
no, that would require the hacker to get access to one of the admin's accounts.
Right?
Right. It's not just that they broke into Facebook, usually.
And one admin can make someone else an admin, can't they? So
that's correct.
So, you know, this guy could have added someone else.
Who then took it over.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't me. It was this other guy.
Joe.
This sock puppet.
And it's got to be, you know, really demoralizing to have, like you said, a 10-year-old Facebook page just, you know, that he curated and cultivated for a very long time just be destroyed in front of you, and then, you know, and then what?
Well, that's why, you know, Facebook is a terrible organization, and you can't trust them to keep your content around. You got to remember that. When you're giving something to Facebook, when you're giving your time and your content to Facebook, they could arbitrarily, capriciously, completely wipe you out tomorrow if they decided to do so.
Yep.
And so you got to go into it understanding that Facebook is a very poor tool for reaching people, but it does reach some people. But you just have to understand that you are at their mercy. But there's more coming back here. Let's talk about this sort of the failure of Photography is Not a Crime. What went wrong? You can share your thoughts. It's Free Talk Live.
In an emergency, you need a fire now. But what if the wood is wet? No problem for InstaFire. Our non-toxic fire starter packs lights wet wood, floats, and can even burn on water or in any weather. Sustains winds up to 30 miles per hour, and each pouch weighs only 1.75 ounces. Need an emergency or camp stove? Get the InstaFire Inferno stove that boils 20 ounces of water in under 3 minutes with controllable heat and temps from 425 to 1500 degrees. Free shipping. Go to instafire.com and use discount code RADIO30 up to 3 times for 30% off your order. InstaFire. Fire in an instant.
Cady Armor has been on a mission to manufacture the most comfortable body armor on the market, and we've succeeded. With the release of our CQB technology, we now offer the most comfortable concealable rifle threat body armor available. Things may look good now, but what if you need added protection? Get your very own concealable rifle threat armor today at cadyarmor.com. And for a limited time, get all plates at wholesale pricing, only at catiarmor.com.
Free Talk Live.
The DEA doesn't dabble with users. They go after the big dogs.
Yeah, and I'm certain they have dabbled with users, and they would if they thought they could get something. They would if they thought they could get somewhere with it.
Maybe a user who's snorting 3 pounds a week, something where they could actually connect to a player.
Yeah.
But most users are just buying from other users. I mean, in the cocaine world, when you are a user, you've got to support your habit somehow.
Right.
And if you're not willing to go and knock over convenience stores and break into people's cars and hurt people to get the cash for your habit, then the only other choice for you, if you're not wealthy, is to sell cocaine to others.
Right.
And so most people will go and pick up whatever amount of coke they do, and then they'll sell to certain specific people who are their friends. Like he was saying, he was selling to his neighbor across the street. The DEA is not going to mess with that.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, inviting you to dial in toll-free here, take control of the airwaves. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Sharing the terrible news about photography is not a crime. One of the go-to websites, one of the sites that over the years here on Free Talk Live we've probably used more memorably than many others. I mean, certainly there's a lot of mainstream media out there, but they don't report on things like Carlos Miller did over at Photography is Not a Crime. Carlos would frequently provide content that you just couldn't find anywhere else. Much of it was original, was created by Carlos or some of the other bloggers there at Photography is Not a Crime, where they would reveal just absolutely outrageous video of how police were treating videographers and photographers in so many different circumstances. And all of it's still there. The website is for sale. So if you have loved Photography is Not a Crime and you want to pick up the baton, pick up the torch, so to speak, and keep running with it, then I'm sure Carlos would love to hear from you with any kind of offer on purchasing the site from him. But even if you were just to keep it alive and keep the archival content there, that would be something. To have a site like that disappear from the internet would be a truly tragic loss. I mean, it's one thing to lose a Facebook page. Okay, whatever. It's another thing to lose the decades worth of content and detailed content, video content that you can find over at photographyisnotacrime.com. But one of the tricky parts about being a doer, being an instigator, being a leader like Carlos is when the time comes to pass the torch, sometimes nobody wants to take it from you, even though he might have people who have helped him over the years and who have been a part of the site. They may not be stepping up to say they want to do that. And I'm not saying that based on pure speculation. I'm saying that based on that's what happened with Cop Block. So I posted a detailed story actually at copblock.org today.
I read that earlier today. That was a good piece.
Thank you. It was 2,000 words I hammered out last night, so it was fairly lengthy, but it's about kind of what happened to CopBlock, and it's very similar, actually, what happened to CopBlock compared to what happened with Carlos Miller and Photography is Not a Crime, with, again, internal strife, fighting amongst the people that were behind the scenes in the site. There's a longer story, and we're not getting into that with CopBlock tonight. But my point was that when Ademo Freeman from CopBlock, who's a former co-host here on Free Talk Live, when the founder of CopBlock, Ademo, wanted to get out and he wanted to call it quits for like the second time. He'd semi-retired previously, and then came back out of retirement to try to rein the organization back in and clean up the bloggers crew and get rid of some of the more unprincipled ones. This was his. He was finally really ready to leave and leave the organization entirely. And he went to the main contributors of CopBlock and he said, "Guys, do you want to take this thing over?" And nobody wanted to take the the lead role. Nobody wanted to be the main editor on the website.
It's rough.
And so that's why, it wasn't that he first went to try to sell the site. He first tried to give the site to the people that had contributed to it over the years, and they just weren't willing to take that level of responsibility. And it's hard, it's hard.
Well, you become a target once you're...
Exactly. That's one of the hard parts about being Ademo Freeman is, he is copblock.org to a lot of the haters out there and the cops who are after him and competing to see who could arrest him. And, it's a tough role to be in. And when I found out that CopBlock was for sale, I kind of did the same thing. I was bewildered. I was like, what? This is such a popular organization. It had hit millions of Facebook likes, for instance. I believe I remember when we celebrated when it hit 1 million years ago, and I think it has like 1.5 million or more than that at this point. So very, very popular. The site had plenty of high rankings and good statistics and all that. It was even generating a little bit of revenue, certainly more than enough to pay the web hosting bill, for instance. So it was able to cover its costs at the very least. But, it wasn't a living. You couldn't make a living off of the website. It's a labor of love.
You need a blockchain. You need a CopBlock blockchain.
CopBlock blockchain. CopBlockchain.
You need a CopBlock Satoshi to be a pseudonym to...
Well, it's too little too late,
Yeah.
I'm afraid, at this point. But the point was the people who were assisting with the site weren't willing to take additional levels of responsibility with it. And it's one of those things where, yeah, you want to decentralize, and there's value to decentralization, but it comes back to the discussion we were having earlier about somebody's got to run something.
When you're a leader, one of the key things that gets overlooked often is that you need to include in your leadership is to foster essentially apprentices, people who will be prepared to take the organization over for continuity's sake. If something ever happened to you, whether it's health or get imprisoned or whatever.
I'm glad you mentioned jail.
Yeah, well, that's a realistic concern.
Ian more than one time, I can tell you that.
Realistic concern when it comes to running copblock.org is that, you're more likely than the average person to end up behind bars.
Yeah, and training people to be leaders in an organization is as much a part of being a leader as anything.
Right, but then unfortunately you end up with situations like Carlos Miller, where he had somebody that obviously was in a leadership role who at some point flipped, or maybe always intended to flip, or what?
That his use of the term public interest in trying to rename the acronym
Photography is Not a Crime.
Public interest is a phrase that's often used by the left for groups like that.
Like Ralph Nader.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly very possible that whoever this person was, this Grant that has allegedly caused the troubles behind the scenes at Photography is Not a Crime, could have always been his intention to, do a hostile takeover of that organization. Or maybe they were true friends for a while and things went south over who knows what reason.
Well, I can tell you when people get together and they're going to, have some kind of business or interest or whatever, it's all roses and rainbows early on because everybody thinks they're going to make some money. And then when the rubber hits the road and you realize, well, this isn't making the kind of money we were expecting, and projections aren't hitting, we're not anywhere near our projections, and it's going to take years at steady growth, and we're having setbacks and, all these things that happen over and over again. It gets hard. I mean, Facebook changes its algorithm and you're not getting the views that you once did. If you've got a... And I don't know what photography
or
is
the
not
YouTubers. They're complaining about the same thing right now.
The
They're
YouTubers
getting demonetized.
The YouTubers built their platform, had to build their business on a platform that they don't control.
Right.
And then when things changed, you either went to Patreon or you're dead. And that's basically how it goes.
Pretty much.
That's why I hate the whole walled garden business model. And, my own experience dealing with Second Life in that way is that, they're a sole source. They, sure, they own it. It's their property and they can do what they want with it. But, they entice people to come in with all of these offers of you can, it's your content, you build it, it's your world, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then they slowly change the terms of service over time. And someday you wake up and it's no longer yours, it's all theirs. And if you object to it, poof, you're gone.
Yep. Well, we said we could do that. It was in line 175 of the terms of service that you agreed to. That's what they would say.
People need to take back control of their online identities.
So it's just tragic to see things like this happen, and I hope Carlos can sell the site to somebody who cares, to somebody who, again, can you reach the level of Carlos Miller? Probably not. You're not Carlos. You didn't start this thing, He
got beaten up pretty badly a couple of times. Let's avoid that,
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know what's going to happen.
He started it because he got a beating.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And Adamo Freeman started copblock.org because he went to jail for selling cannabis, and he saw the insanity of the war on drugs, and knew that he was a victimless criminal, knew that he'd never harmed anybody, and he wanted to inform people about their rights, and he wanted to encourage people to hold police accountable, and he did that. He was successful. Even though copblock and photography is not a crime have both died basically this year, that doesn't mean that they haven't left a legacy of helping people know their rights, encouraging them to record police encounters. The legacy between the sites is very similar, and it's a shame to see them go. There's more coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are two Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
If your dog has shedding, dry skin, excessive scratching, I would recommend Dynovite.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dynovite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynovite.
Dynovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder. Long-distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body. Why take another pill? Treat your aches and pains with Sunshine Pillows. Microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra-large body heating wraps. Sunshine Pillows and wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it, even while driving. Sunshine Pillows are designed with your comfort in mind, will not burn you, and will stay balanced on your body to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part, Sunshine Pillows start at just $20. Join hundreds of our happy customers and see why Sunshine Pillows has a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. Click sunshine-pillows.com and take the Sunshine Pillow Challenge. That's sunshine-pillows.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually.
Whoa. Hey, you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait on account. Now. Wait a minute.
Really forget it.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. We got time for you if you want to join us. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. And you can Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. Tonight, it's Ian,
Mike,
and Mark.
We're going right to your phone calls and thoughts. Of course, don't forget to head on over to freetalklive.com, where there's a newsletter sign-up that you can follow over at freetalklive.com. The sign-up box is right at the top of the page, or near the top in the middle of the page there. You can get signed up, and we'll send you an email usually about once a week to inform you on what's going on with Free Talk Live. And one of those updates, Mark, that we have not sent is because something came in this week, so the news hasn't gone out yet via the email list, but I don't know if you've mentioned it on the air. There was an anonymous donation to hope.freetalklive.com that button that sucker up. What's going on?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that last night on the air. I was very excited. Yesterday was a great day. Hope.freetalklive.com. We have fully funded the orphanage in Jinja, Uganda.
Yeah,
so,
congrats.
Yeah, it's great. I'm very excited.
It's been a long time. It's been several months, 3, 4, 5 months.
Yeah,
5 months, I would say.
It hasn't been total fundraising the whole time, although you could send funds the whole time. We haven't been pushing it the whole time.
You'd push for different phases of the project.
And I am still actually holding back some of the funds. The guy who's on the ground there, Mr. Saul, hands out the money to Ndufuna and then to other people that he pays and stuff. And he didn't want it all at once, so I held back. I've got like $3,300 still held back, and we'll get that to him when he's ready.
Great.
And they've got the roof on the building. They're going to start plastering. They're doing something called slinging, which has to do with the roof. I'm not entirely clear on that. Interior, though. So the kids are in the building. They don't have rain falling on them during the rainy season, whatever that might be. Mm-hmm. And they'll get to see it being outfitted, and they'll get to see their new home progressing, and it's going to be pretty exciting.
And you needed to raise $700, and this person gave $1,000 worth of Bitcoin.
That's
right.
Right. I had $700 more left, and that person saw the opportunity, gave me $1,000 in Bitcoin, and so there you go.
So it's a done deal.
Yep. A little bit of bad news. Ndufuna Johnson, the guy who's the takes care of the kids there, mm-hmm. he dropped his cell phone while he was doing the roofing thing, and now it's shattered. So
I hope he had a backup for his Bitcoin wallet.
Yeah, I mean that'll be taken care of, as I understand it.
Okay, good.
I think he gets the Bitcoin out of there pretty quickly. But I did.
You always want to have a backup whenever you have a Bitcoin wallet, no matter what your intentions are. You never know when it's going to drop into a bucket of tar on a roof or something like that, and you want to make sure you got your Bitcoin wallet backed up just in case.
I will ask him about it because I didn't think to ask that. It's just that there won't be any pictures coming in the near future
because the phone's gone.
Yeah, the phone being gone. It's not like he's got $100 or $200 to just drop on a phone. This is a guy who lives out in the hinterland, and the money I've raised is to build an orphanage. So he's not going to take that money
and spend it on a phone.
Yeah. So he was asking me if I had an old phone, and I don't think I do. But anyway, we'll get that figured out.
All right.
So it's hope.freetalklive.com. I will be updating with pictures when I get them. Hope.freetalklive.com.
Cool. Thanks for the update there.
Awesome. Thanks to everybody who donated.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
No, and big thanks also to GetSell411.com and Jax.io for doubling those donations, which is awesome. More than doubling, I guess. Double matching.
Yep.
So tripling the donations. Anyway, let's talk to Robert. He's in Bellows Falls, Vermont. Hello, Robert. You're on Free Talk Live.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I heard you were talking about Facebook and it being hacked into or whatever the case may be. I just wanted to give people a heads up here. And this may be old news. I mean, I don't know. But I know that for the last 6 months, I've been having nothing but problems with Craigslist. You put an ad up in there or you answer to an ad and, the people, they retrieve your email address, your phone number. Just all kinds of god-awful things.
Well, what are you saying is happening there? That you're getting people who are trying to scam you?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, my sister, she put an iPhone 6 on Craigslist for sale. And, people get you into conversations to try to get information from you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, before you know it, they, somehow either got into your account or, one of the other biggest things is that if you go into where it's, like if they're looking for like men looking for women or women looking for men or rants and raves, they steal your pictures, they, have your email address. And they'll go and they'll pose somewhere else in another state to try to con somebody else.
As though they were you, is what you're saying.
As they were me, exactly.
There's a lot of that happening on Craigslist. When I moved recently in August, and when I was shopping for places to move to, I was looking on Zillow and Craigslist and so forth. And there's this phenomenon on Craigslist with the real estate listings that if you list your apartment for rent, or home for rent or whatever, it's likely that a scammer is going to copy your listing and offer it at a lower rent. And so people will respond to them instead of you.
Yep.
And then they talk the people into giving them deposits.
Right. Oh, yeah, I'll send you the key.
Yeah. And so then
Somebody
they
was
show
just saying
up
this the other night on the
at
show.
your building expecting to have a lease. And it's like, not with me,
Who are
you don't.
Yeah.
And
right.
It's really awful because, especially if you go into where people are looking for, looking to find other people to talk with or have a romance with and stuff like that. And it's not what it says that it is.
Right.
The program is, but the people that you respond to, you don't know who it is.
Yeah, they could be halfway across the world, and I forget who we were talking to about this earlier this week, but this very same thing came up, and the idea was that somebody in Nigeria, for instance, if they can scam somebody out of $1,000, right, like first month's rent or something like that, or first in security, you're probably looking at $1,000 to $2,000 to get into most places. If they can get somebody to wire them some money or send them a check or whatever, and then the promise is,
huge amount of money.
I'm out of town right now. I'll send you the key as soon as I get the check, and then you send them the check, and they never send the key, and the money's gone. $1,000 a month or $1,000 for one time is going to keep that person in Nigeria eating well for a long time.
If you want to sell anything, on Craigslist, you got to insist on meeting the person
in real life.
In real life.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, or either that, talk with them on the phone.
Well, that's still not good enough.
Well, no, but at least
helps.
if you're talking with them on the phone, you're talking with a person as opposed to.
It's not good enough.
Yeah, I've found another thing that people do to game Craigslist is if you're selling something and they're trying to sell something identical or very similar to it, and you're asking less than they are, they will pretend that they want to buy your item in order to get you to remove your listing.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you've got some sort of deal on Craigslist, as Mike said here, meet the person in real life. In the case of a real estate or a rental, you want to make sure I would think a good idea would be to meet the person at the location and make sure that you can get in and, look around and that you actually have a key that works in the lock before, everything's done.
And if you cannot personally be there because it's way across the country, find someone you trust,
Who
or
can go.
Get a real estate agent.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, it would be worth it. Whatever the small cost would be to do that, to hire basically hire an agent of some sort, would be worth it. Especially if you end up losing $2,000, or something like that. So,
at least we have the Triad Society. If we want to talk to people that are for the most part genuine, anyways. But
you still can't trust. I get what you're saying. You're saying that the libertarians moving to New Hampshire tend to be more trustworthy, and I think that may be a true in general. But there are still exceptions to where you still have to be cautious.
Plenty of exceptions.
You still have to be cautious.
Always check people's references.
No doubt. Thanks, Robert, for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. And I don't know if Craigslist gives people a heads up on common scams because I don't spend much time on that site. But you hear things about that kind of thing happening. And for the average person who's not aware of the different types of scams, they're going to get taken. Yeah. Just because they're going to trust somebody. They're going to trust this anonymous person. They're going to trust this emailer or the person they're talking to on the phone. Simply because people have a nature, I think of trusting nature. And I appreciate that.
Don't trust anybody on the internet, especially if they're on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Meet them in person.
Check, double check, and verify. Meet in person. Make sure that key opens the door to the house.
And if
before
they
you
say
give them
they're a
money.
woman, they're probably a man.
That's probably true. We'll see you tomorrow night online. In the meantime, you can go to freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, October 24th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.88 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,273 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,483. Antiwar.com reports top officials in Catalonia say they are considering calling snap elections this week as a way to preempt the Spanish government's attempts to seize the autonomous region outright. Spanish officials say this will not work. The argument is that because the Article 155 takeover is meant to be imposed just to lead to fresh elections, which Spain is hoping the anti-secessionists win, beating them to the punch and calling elections would make their takeover superfluous. Spanish officials say they want the outgoing government to publicly disavow secession before that happens, however, if they are to avoid the takeover, and Spanish officials seem set to impose a takeover no matter what. What Spanish officials are saying about this being insufficient may not matter, however, if the snap elections are enough to convince the Spanish Senate not to vote in favor of the takeover. Stopping the takeover would go a long way to ensuring the Catalans' next elections are free, as under Spanish rule, Catalonia would doubtless face severe restrictions on campaigning by pro-secessionist figures, many of whom are likely to be rounded up before the vote. Catalan officials have also said they intend to contest in court the efforts by Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy to directly take over Catalonia and the total revocation of the region's historic autonomy. Article 155 has never before been invoked. Spain's government will be arguing that the referendum supporting independence, which the court already forbade, proves Catalonia's constitutional order needs to be restored by force. Catalan officials will argue that peaceful demonstrations calling for independence don't rise to the level of an emergency. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a Mississippi woman who sat in a county jail for 96 days without being offered bail or a lawyer on suspicion of a drug crime she swore she never committed may pursue a civil rights lawsuit against the county and its sheriff, according to a federal appeals court on Tuesday. Reversing a lower court ruling, the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said Jessica Jogg was denied basic procedural due process by Choctaw County and Sheriff Cloyd Halford in being held so long, ostensibly because the court was not in session. Jogg's innocence is now undisputed. A 3-judge panel of the New Orleans-based appeals court voted unanimously, with Circuit Judge Thomas Reevely writing, a procedure calling for extended pretrial detention without any sort of hearing is alien to our law. Brandon Buskey, a lawyer for the American Civil Liberties Union, said the decision reflects different levels of justice that people accused of crimes might receive while awaiting their day in court. He said you can't operate two justice systems based on wealth and someone who could afford an attorney who would not have sat in jail for 96 days. Jogg was taken into custody after police pulled her over on April 26, 2012 and issued several traffic tickets. She later learned she had been indicted 3 months earlier over a sale of 8 tablets of an anti-anxiety drug known as Xanax. The case was dismissed in January 2013 after surveillance video showed Jogg merely borrowed $40 from a friend who happened to be working as a confidential informant. Jogg sued in April 2015, but her case was dismissed in September 2016 by Chief Judge Sharian Aycock of the federal court in Aberdeen, Mississippi. Aycock said that because Jogg was indicted by a grand jury, state law did not entitle her to the court hearing she sought. Reevely, however, said indefinite pretrial detention without an arraignment or court appearance offended fundamental principles of justice, potentially imperiling a suspect's job, income, and family relationships. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Hollywood's biggest stars are rallying for a good cause this week with the Save Our Children campaign. Celebs like Jessica Simpson, Brad Pitt, and Gwyneth Paltrow headlined a charity event to help their suffering kids who desperately need a chance to live a normal life. Angelina Jolie talked to Starfix about the charity, saying, quote, "You don't have to be a mother to want to help my children, many of whom are not getting a proper education. If you look at the numbers, 1 in 5 of my children will struggle with drug problems." Joining us now is a representative from the charity, Julie Harrison. Julie, it was such a great cause.
Absolutely. We're talking about children who don't have any positive role models. They're born into a life they didn't ask for, and if the state's not going to step up and help these kids, it's time someone did something.
Here's a quote from Victoria Beckham, and I found this powerful. "It breaks my heart to think about these kids living somewhere in my house with no hope for a happy future. Who knows if they even have food to eat?" Julie, according to your group's website, a staggering number of STARS children are being exploited growing up without parents.
Right.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember. I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah. No fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear here, and declare your independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEAUT full studios of Freedoms with an S, FreedomsPhoenix.com. Ooh, better one. All right. The Texas Bitcoin Conference. It's the Texas Bitcoin Conference. It's the Texas Bitcoin Conference coming up this weekend in Austin, Texas. See, here we go. It says, this annual event will focus on the massive growth, value, and interest in Bitcoin and digital currency. The event will highlight and explain the exploding evolution of blockchain techs like smart contracts, new ways to fund ventures, define value, coordinate business processes, defined identities, prevent fraud, and more. Layered over the technology is the need to understand the investment in this space. Bitcoin, altcoins, ICOs, regulation, tax law, businesses, funds. There's so much to understand. Yep. You need to understand. Well, who's going to help us with it? Paul Snow. Paul Snow, a leader in the open source technology arena. Paul brings more than 3 decades of software development experience to his position at the helm of Factom. We're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about Factom and get an update on that, I'm sure. A true open source evangelist, Paul also acts as chief architect for DT Rules, an open source project he founded in 2004 to make decision table-based rules engines available to all sorts of products. That means something to somebody. It's a geek thing. Well, Paul Snow is doing the Texas Bitcoin Conference. Got a lot to look forward to, do we not, Paul?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's, the